Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Level 1 News. Blah, blah, blah. Today
is where we
what? That we're fumbling over our words?
you said it as a question. Level 1
On
news?
text?
Listen, it's Friday. We're all it's very bad.
It's December 17th.
It's very bad.
The time is ticking down before Christmas.
Next week is Xmas. I don't even know what our schedule is going to be for Xmas.
Oh, yeah, because
Friday, yeah. I
Friday
probably
is
won't be
just
around that Friday.
yeah, it's Christmas Eve. I got to go to my mom's.
We might be doing. We might do all the week between New Year's and Xmas. We might do as a live stream on that Monday or possibly even Tuesday. I wonder if I could do a live stream from a cabin in the woods. I'm sure the chat would be both delighted and horrified to see that.
It's what was I gonna say? We have to do our drunk news at the end of the year too.
For New Year's, yeah.
Yeah, do that once a year.
That's 2 lives in a row. Do we dare?
I know.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we can record it on a Sunday or something. Anyway, we're drinking orange soda. This is the first one that I've reordered. It's the Hannaford Brothers locally crafted orange soda. This one is really good.
I thought you were talking about Crush because I can't see it. So that's the one that has the paprika in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the A++ that we had a few weeks ago.
It's good stuff.
We
November.
found out that's just a store brand, right? From somewhere in New England.
Yep. And you can get it online. It's a little pricey, but you can get it online. So.
Have you hidden the other bottles so that people
Yes.
don't take them?
Yeah. Well, they're not hidden as much as there's stuff there to suggest that maybe you shouldn't drink this.
Those are like a sign, like this is Wendell's special soda. Don't touch it.
This is for my very sad days. Not really, but
But kind of. It's an emotional support soda.
It is so good. So good. But we've got Devember going on. There's a link for $100 of Linode credit for Devember, or just $100 of Linode credit if you want to set something up. We've done some videos on Linode, videos on VPNs, and videos on WireGuard, and VPNs on Beef, the browser exploitation thingy. So, a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff you can do with Linode. And, of course, this episode was brought to you by Linode. So, thanks, Linode, for sponsoring the news. And, let's actually do the news.
Let's get into it.
Our first story, definitely the darkest of timelines.
I hate TechDirt's headlines because they're very tiny. Verizon once again expands its Snoopvertising ambitions.
Where is Rosenworcel when you need her?
She's on Christmas
she's gonna
break.
be on this. You know she is.
Everyone else is enjoying their Christmas holiday, and she's like checking her phone. She's like, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna nail them for that.
This goes so far beyond net neutrality. Like, this is like deep packet inspection snooping. It's like, we want to know who you're calling and where you are and blah blah blah.
You can opt out.
You can opt out of it if you have an original Verizon phone. If you don't have an original Verizon phone, there doesn't seem to be any way to opt out.
Sucks to
And
suck.
there's also no way to not be opted in. Which, isn't that illegal?
Yeah, you're by default you are opted in. And I was thinking that they had put an end to that, but yes,
That's got to be, California's got to be, that's got to be illegal there, right?
This has got to be blisteringly illegal. Who inside Verizon is helping build this? How do you sleep at night?
They
Well,
don't.
if you already work for Verizon, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Speaking of things to keep you up at night,
The popular family safety app Life360 is selling precise location data on its tens of millions of users.
was that wrong? Should we not have done that?
Did you not want us to sell all the tracking data for your children?
33
On the app
million
we
people.
call safety.
33 million people use this. The criminals know exactly where your children are. Why
So
would
they just
Or-
sell it to whoever.
Well, you know what? Actually, I was just going to correct you saying not just the criminals, but then I realized saying that the government is. I'm actually just repeating what you just said.
Yeah.
How are they going to, use your children surreptitiously in a honeypot operation if they don't know where they are?
Come on. Think about the profits. You're being selfish.
Yeah.
This is. I can understand people like being terrified of having kids this day and age, but I don't think you should resort to this kind of thing. I think it destroys the trust that your child has, and kind of hinders them in the future.
What do you mean you couldn't find me? Don't you have my implant? Wasn't my implant on? You could have found me with my implant. You don't love me. Speaking of things that come back to haunt you after 18 years.
Oh, sorry. My brain just autopiloted there. SolarWinds hackers have a whole bag of new tricks for mass compromise attacks.
Remember SolarWinds? Remember how they got access to like the supply chain, the electronic supply chain of SolarWinds monitoring and management utilities, and they just had, everything. Microsoft has something to say about all this. They factor pretty heavily in this, but yeah, there's just turns out that that's a very effective way to disrupt things and also make people super paranoid that you never really get them out.
Once
There's at least
bugs.
something lingering there, right?
I mean, that's what this seems to be saying, and that is what Microsoft seems to be suggesting with some of this stuff. So, yeah. Use of a custom downloader dubbed Cree loader. Wasn't that from Stargate? The Cree?
That's what people used to call McCree before he got renamed to Cassidy.
Someone should tell SolarWinds that they need to rename that because it's not acceptable
Anymore, yeah.
There are also some fascinating details about how the hackers used a compromised Active Directory inside a hacked CSP to gain a toehold in a customer's network. The technique used RBAC, short for role-based access control, which CSPs use to access the networks that they serve. Yeah, so this is just like, we don't have to hack those people. We can hack the people that provide the software that those people use. It's genius.
Yeah, there was another leak this week where they did everything right, but you just have to get that one help desk person to believe you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was Comcast. That was another provider. We got a story about that.
I think it was Cox.
Or Cox, yeah. It was some
Demonetized.
Yeah, provider. So we also got this.
Eurostar tests facial recognition system on London train station.
That's a little creepy. The train knows who you are.
I was going to say the image of the train looks a little ominous too. He kind of looks like he's got eyes and they're red.
Blame the train.
Yeah.
How long before the trains have like the Thomas the Tank Engine personality and kids are like, I want to ride the train. I want to go on the tube, mother.
Oh, kids are already like that. They love trains. Can't get enough of them.
See, that's the great thing about the Dark Tower. Blame the train. He was left over. And in a dystopian hellscape, he was the only thing that could get you across the nuclear wasteland, but he was completely insane. His AI had gone completely insane. So they had to have a riddle battle with him.
Oh.
What a great set of books.
Not the
But
movie.
this is, you don't have to do it, but if you don't do it, they describe the pain in the ass check-in process if you're not scanning, which means that everybody will be scanning.
Oh, I heard
Yeah.
some cats.
Oh, did you finally hear them?
I heard him.
While you were talking.
Well, that's
couldn't
probably
deal
how
with
it gets
that.
through because it's not silencing because I'm talking. He's
Yeah.
laying
I just heard him
at the
again.
bedroom door, trying to stuff his head under it. I don't know why. I guess he thinks maybe I'm in there, even though I'm right here.
There's another one of you in there, I promise.
Oh, that'd be terrifying. He's like, he's
We're
trying to
20
tell
minutes
you.
away from their food time, and they get really apprehensive at this time of day.
Speaking of apprehension,
I can't read this. It's too far away.
Mitto AG boss accused of secret phone surveillance. This is a terrible headline. Terrible headline. This is a guy that runs an information technology services company in the NSO group area. This is accusing the boss of one of those companies of running a side business of surveillance.
Yeah, this is crazy because it was something about the 3G protocol he figured out how to exploit, but then just kept all those records for a long time for his own uses. And I think he sold stuff, right?
Yeah. It's like this is what you do for employment, but it's like, we're not going to use that stuff for the employment. I'll just have the side business selling exploits on the 3G network, and no one cares because 3G is on its way out anyway.
And Mitto AG claims that they didn't know. Do you believe them?
No, I don't believe them. I think this is probably like he's probably an agent of something else, and that's how that works. That revolving door. It's like, oh, I'm an employee for blah blah blah. And it's like, no, you're not.
Uh-oh, you're getting too hot for YouTube.
Our next story.
Super hot.
Really, this is a missort, but that's fine.
Microsoft seizes domains used by Chinese cyber-espionage group Nickel.
So this is another one of those stories. It doesn't have anything to do with the Russian SolarWinds thing, but this just shows you how much the hacking groups the international hacking groups are sort of stepping things up, which makes me wonder how much we're stepping things up too.
Yeah.
But they sunk 45 domains, something like that, that had to do with operations for Vixen, Panda, App 15, Mirage, and a bunch of others.
But here's the thing. So they seized domains, which means that there had to be some sort of like governing body over top of this. At some point, don't you think that somebody along the chain here had to just trust Microsoft and be like, oh, okay, we believe you that all
Yeah.
these are.
Yeah.
And you know they'll abuse that eventually.
Yeah, eventually that'll be the norm. Well, if they won't abuse it willingly, what we've seen is that eventually it'll be abused by policy. So eventually it's like Microsoft becomes the gatekeeper of domain names. Not really, but Microsoft becomes the gatekeeper of domains. And then like the recording industry, the Motion Picture Association comes to them and they say, we really need you to sinkhole the Pirate Bay in the United States. And Microsoft says, sure, whatever.
Which is exactly what Google did, although it wasn't in the United States. What country was that?
Sweden?
I think so, yeah.
Sweden,
remember.
Switzerland. Yeah.
Speaking of things that are a really horrifying dystopia, have you not built your own pfSense router yet? This article might make you change your mind.
That. 9 Wi-Fi routers used by millions were vulnerable to 226 flaws.
Now, this is a really super clickbait headline. When you read this, they actually just audited. They did a top-to-bottom audit of 9 different models of router that have sold millions and millions of units. And when they did the audit, they found all kinds of flaws. Now, all of the flaws, or almost all of the flaws, are not remotely exploitable. It was just old versions of stuff. Old versions of the Linux kernel, old versions of BusyBox, which is a sort of lightweight set of commands like ls and dir and command editing and some other stuff. That's like a really super lightweight Linux distro. It's like a one binary that actually just does a bunch of different things. And curl and some socket services and the web server. And when you look at each one of those things, there's a database of exploits people have already found. So these security researchers weren't looking for anything new. They were just seeing that these companies had done their work to update the software components that they use on their products to be sure that they were current. They were not. They were not current to a horrifying degree because, you know, if it's you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, I guess. That's the lesson.
I love how it seems to be when you look at these pictures of all these routers, it seems to be an arms race of who can attach the most antenna.
Well, that looks like the Asus ROG Rapture is winning there, but 25 total vulnerabilities on that one. 25 to 32 looks like EdgeLink, TP-Link, Synology, EdgeMax, D-Link, AVM, blah, blah, blah. I will emphasize that, again, these vulnerabilities, you need some kind of access in order to be able to use them. It's not that they were wide open on the internet. That certainly happened with routers before. But these vulnerabilities could be exploited once you get access. So once you got access, you can chain that together with one of these, you know, it's a smorgasbord. It's a buffet. It's like, oh, I can combine that exploit and this
Christmas
one and this one.
feast.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden there's somebody mining crypto on your router, or worse, sending the data directly to Verizon. I can't think of anything worse than that. So, and again, these things could be dealt with by the manufacturers if they just update their software. That's all they got to do. That's all they were checking for. This was not even a real security audit. Okay, I mean, it was a security audit, but like they weren't looking for things that were unknown. They were looking for things that were known, which is what makes this egregious. It makes my blood pressure boil. So, yeah.
That means you need more emotional support soda. It's
Splashed
delicious.
a little bit. So good. All right. This is kind of heartwarming.
Hackers are spamming businesses' receipt printers with anti-work manifestos.
Your time is your most valuable asset. Not only can you never have any more of it, you don't even know how much you have.
It's kind of dark. It's like, well, calm down, receipt printer.
I just wanted a receipt for my orange soda, and I get this.
I mean, is it?
Yeah. Does this really actually help the people, or does this just like make their day a little bit more annoying?
A little more annoying because you have to change your receipt printer more often.
Well, one of two things happen. One, you wake up, you can change the direction of your life, and magical things happen to you. Or two, you wake up and you try to change the direction of your life, but you discover that was your highest station in life, and then it only goes downhill from here because you quit your job.
I guarantee you the people on Reddit who are in the anti-work subreddit are not the same kind of people working these jobs. These are rich kids who don't have to
Uh,
worry about reality.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Are you on anti-work?
I've been on it. I mean, I've read it. I don't subscribe to it or anything, but I've seen some of the posts. But like, I have some friends who basically got screwed over by 2008, and like, they're smart people, but like, it's just hard to find decent jobs, and they get paid shit. Oh, that probably just got us demonetized.
Speaking of bleeping computer,
Cox discloses data breach after hacker impersonates support agent.
so a rando got access to, quote unquote, a limited number of Cox ISP customer accounts, which included their PIN number and billing address and a lot of
Security
information.
questions. You know how hard it is to come up with security questions?
Oh, yeah.
And now you got to throw away any of them that you used on the Cox website.
Now think about the database that Verizon is building. Can you imagine when that leaks on the dark web? That's going to be amazing and also horrifying. I don't want to think about that. That's just terrifying. You know what else is terrifying? It's like being able to dial 911 and it's like, oh, help's on the way. Not so fast.
Oh no! Google says bug with Teams and Android can cause 911 calls to fail.
It
That seems
turns
like a
out-
problem.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me try to actually dial that. I'm on Teams, and it's like, oh, that should go through your cellular connection. Oh, we didn't do that.
Well, and it seems like it's just bad news all the way down for 911 because we just did stories about how they're not getting a bunch of like upgrades they needed.
I think this is kind of Google's Achilles heel is like they never really check for bugs and things. Like if Google makes a mistake, they never plan for that. It just things fail catastrophically.
There's no
because-
like even if it's not a great backup plan, there's just none.
Yeah.
How
Whereas
does Teams have that level of control over my phone? I don't want Teams to have that level of control over my phone.
well, there's probably an API that's like, hey, you need to make a 911 call. That's how it should be. That's not that egregious. But it doesn't do that. I like Apple Watch where it's like the guy goes off the, face first off the handlebars on a bicycle, and Apple Watch is like, I'm just going to preemptively call 911 for you. Whereas Android is like, just walk it off. It's like,
Unless you had TikTok running.
Then you're not worthy of 911.
it's like, oh, you it's literally making the determination based on the app that you had open. It's like, you had Netflix open? All right, we'll call 911. TikTok? No, forget it. The
No.
world's better off without you. I don't have a good segue to this one either.
No. Over 40 million people had health information leaked this year.
Yeah. Hospitals aren't any good at their... Remember the first episode this week? We mentioned 600,000 security professionals are needed. Hospitals need them too. They're not willing to pay for them, but they need them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You'd think that hospitals would have the money to do that.
You would think, considering how much they charge for literally any procedure, but that just needs to go to administration. Don't worry about where that money goes.
I was filling out the paperwork at the optometrist, and there were so many questions that I just didn't answer because I was like, how could this possibly have anything to do with my optometry?
Do you remember any of them?
You don't need, marital status is a big one.
That might be for insurance, I guess, like if you have insurance through your spouse.
There were several. I mean, I can't remember what they are now.
What's
Well, I
your
left them all
favorite
out,
color? Why is that
And nothing
really?
happened. They're definitely just building a profile.
Yeah.
Fun
Oh,
time.
did you get new glasses? I can't tell.
Yes.
Oh. Here, scroll over so I can see.
They came in already?
Hmm?
Nice.
I can't tell. You should have got a radically different style
Yeah, Ryan's glasses are smaller than the headlines that you're struggling
that I'm
to
struggling to read on the smaller headlines.
I've already made my first order from China. So I'm definitely going to get a bunch of different kinds of glasses.
Oh.
read. Nice.
It'll be like the screws where there's a mystery meaning behind it.
The thing about the Chinese glasses, though, the way they get you is because they'll advertise like, oh, you can get this pair for $5. It's $5 if you get the 1.5 lenses, which are like Coke bottles. If you want the good lenses, it really rapidly increases in price.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That makes sense. Because how else would you do it?
I don't skimp on glasses. I buy them from my optometrist office.
Yeah, they're probably ordering it from China too.
I mean,
Oh
probably.
yeah, yeah. The thing is, they all come in the same factories. So when you buy from China, you're getting the same product.
It's exciting times. Speaking of, wait, what?
LinePay leaks 133,000 users' data to GitHub, of all places.
They say of all places, but this actually makes sense.
Yeah.
People check in the production database to GitHub all the time. Whoops.
They said it was like a marketing employee or something.
Yeah, 51,000 Japanese users and 82,000 Taiwanese and Thai users.
I don't think that person will be given access to GitHub anymore.
Nope.
Nope. And there's probably somebody inside the organization that was like, if you just talked to me, just asked, we could have avoided this. But no, you tried to DIY it, and then you made a huge mess. And somehow I'm responsible for cleaning it up. Oh, that hits a little too close to home.
It hurts a little too much.
Speaking of things hitting a little too close to home,
Scientists raise concerns over UK baby genome sequencing plan.
have a baby in the UK? Let's get its DNA in a database. What could possibly go wrong?
Apparently, they already do a lot of genetic testing. Like, you poop out a baby, as you do, and they immediately test it for, I think it was 9 or 10 different genetic disorders. Because
Don't
there's
they
some
do
stuff.
prenatal?
Yeah, prenatal too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Down syndrome. They will tell you.
But I mean, some of these are there was, I think it was some sort of spinal disease. They're they'll test you for it when you're born so they can start giving you medication for it when you're young before you show any symptoms. And that's how they're
great.
justifying doing this as well.
It's great. I mean, you can't argue that you probably wouldn't have a better quality of life with all that if you had one of those things wrong with you. But this is also going to follow you forever, as we've seen with data. Even if they try to hide it, it'll get leaked, and the insurance companies will know.
That might not be a problem in the UK, but it
Or
would be a problem here.
employers. Kellogg's might not want you if it knows that you have certain problems.
Kellogg's might be using your DNA secretly without your knowledge to know if you're, fraudulently applying for jobs that you don't ever intend to take.
I was thinking of a darker future where they know what kind of cereal you like based on your DNA. A Frosted Flakes man, I see.
You're a number 7 Frosted Flakes. You want formula number 7. Trust us. So, yeah.
That would be a especially weird dystopia.
That's
They also pointed out here that the NHS, they stated the purpose for this whole thing. But a doctor came along and she said, well, if this was really the purpose, there are so many better ways to do this. The only reason you do it this way would be to create a profile.
Yeah.
Shh. Bad doctor. Don't draw
Don't talk
attention.
about that.
don't draw attention. And now we're moseying on into the nonsense section, I guess.
That was a nonsense story. That was a security nonsense
Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that when one of these kids grows up in 20 or 30 years and their data, it's like, wait a minute, the kid with the weird genome, that was me. Kind of thing. I don't know. Fun times.
Can you monetize that? Probably not.
Probably not. No, somebody else already did. Pfizer or somebody's going to make $1 bazillion off of your genome, and you're never going to see a dime of it. That doesn't seem right. It's like, well, you didn't know your genome was worth anything, but I did. It's like, well, yeah, but come on.
You wouldn't have known. Oh, movie dialogue. Here's why movie dialogue has gotten more difficult to understand. And 3 ways to fix it!
You wouldn't have known with movie dialogue.
Movie dialogue makes me so insane. I've always wondered why they do this, and this article reveals just because they're idiots.
Yes, that was it. That's all I took away from it as well. It's
Bad
a purposeful choice. I hate that. I thought Dune was bad for that, I thought.
I remember Bane. I had a lot of trouble understanding Bane.
Yeah.
No one understood Bane.
Oh, with the subtitles, he's very eloquent and well-spoken. Good job, Bane.
It just
And you know
doesn't
who sounds exactly
enunciate.
like Bane except without the muffle? Is Venom from the new Venom movie.
I think
He
that's the
sounds
same actor.
absolutely stupid.
The whispering all the time. And then, what kills me is you have the whispering and then they bring up the soundtrack level. So you get blasted. You can never get that right,
Yeah.
volume level, so you can have it equalized across both.
The Lord of the Rings movie is really, really guilty of that too. When they're in Barad-dûr and it's so dark, and then it immediately cuts to like the Snow White mountains.
Yeah.
It
My eyes. It's a visual version of that.
it burns the eyes out of my head, but then the music gets really loud too, and it's just like, what's happening? If you're dozing off in your chair and then that happens, it's like I'm never sleeping again.
There are certain things that a lot of TV shows and movies will do to set you on edge and give you an emotion cheaply. And three of the big ones: barking dog, crying baby, and here's the one that drives me insane. No one in a movie will answer a phone before like 6 rings.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
I saw the other day on some on Reddit the ringing in Jerry's doorbell for his apartment. The amount of time from somebody buzzing Seinfeld's apartment thing to the time that they show up upstairs, and they had plotted it over time. It was amazing.
Oh, so they could like guesstimate how far up he was.
No. It was wildly varied. Sometimes it was like 10 seconds. Sometimes it was like a minute and a half.
That's what the story called for, Wendell.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like it's just the buzzing noise. It's just I don't know. Speaking of buzzing noises and annoyances,
Jimmy Wales is selling his first Wikipedia edit as an NFT because this is the reality we live in now.
hello world. He's also selling his old Strawberry iMac. But a lot of Wikipedia editors are very upset about this.
That cracked me up. I mean, such a weird thing to be so angry about, right?
Yeah? I mean, isn't he going to just use the money for more Wikipedia things?
Or maybe. Well, maybe that's what
I
they're
don't know.
upset about. Like, maybe it's like, we do this for free because we believe in free information, and now someone's monetizing it.
NFTs
Yeah,
are
but he's a little more involved than they were,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say?
NFTs are weird because it's like, oh, someone can own information, but the information is there. So, like, if you just say, well, it's cool that you own it, I'm just going to go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always felt about movies and television.
It's funny how that works. It's really funny how this works.
Giant study finds Viagra is linked to almost 70% lower risk of Alzheimer's.
Well, there you go.
See, now I think this is correlation is not causation. I think if you're at that age and you're still banging, it shows that you probably have a decent enough health to not be in that category.
That's probably a good point.
That's probably how it is, yes.
Still a fun headline, though.
You know what else is a fun headline? Probably the funnest headline out of the Blizzard Activision insanity.
Nursing Activision-Blizzard employees say their breast milk kept getting stolen.
It's not just like there's a level of horror here. Like, if you were nursing and you were an Activision-Blizzard employee reading this story, I feel very bad for you because it sounded like you would have to trek across campus and you wouldn't have a lockable locker and you wouldn't have a proper chair. And it was just all
Which
levels
is illegal,
of horrifying.
by the
Yeah.
way.
But
Yeah.
do you remember when you renovated the office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
that
we're a
was one of
tiny
the rules, and
business.
everybody was like, "Why do you need to create these such explicit rules?" Because they had the dimensions of the room,
Yep.
had to have a refrigerator,
And the refrigerator
had to have
was-
a door.
The refrigerator
that locks.
is not allowed to contain anything else.
Right.
Right. They had these crazy rules. And you're like, why would you have all these crazy rules? And it's like, oh, because Activision Blizzard exists.
Right.
And they're the reason that we have to have this horrible bureaucracy.
And that was the rules around here. Imagine what it's like in California.
I'm sure it's just as stringent, if not more so.
I don't understand why at least one of those people didn't tweet a picture to like the California Department of Labor or whatever and say this is.
Well,
this
I mean,
is
obviously it's coming out now, but like,
there's beer next to the milk. This
What-
is not acceptable.
what would be frustrating about this too is like, when you're breastfeeding, it's not like a faucet you can turn on and off. So like, you pump your milk or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'll give that to my baby tonight. If they throw it out or someone steals it, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you have enough milk to feed them again immediately right after. Like, you got to keep it going. It's like a factory. It's got to keep chugging.
Do you think it was stolen or thrown away? Because I could see it both ways. I could see it as them being like, we don't want these people here. They're wasting time. Let's retaliate against them. But also, baby mother's milk has, I think it's got growth hormone and a bunch of other crazy stuff that you don't get in any other kind of food. So bodybuilders actually use it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be, or I mean, it's Blizzard, so it could be some sort of horrible sexual thing too, because that's the horrible reality we live in.
Oh,
Well,
that's
listen, if
really
you buy
terrifying.
somebody's bath water,
Yeah,
certainly breast milk would be one step closer.
it's
right?
awful.
That's a level of horrifying that's just unfathomable. But yeah, it's a do you engagement challenge. Do you work there? Why?
Why do you work there?
Is it really this bad, or is it just people going insane?
I mean, it's just stuff constantly coming out of there. At some point, it's like, no, maybe it's a terrible place to work.
It really, this story or our next story, I don't know which is worse.
I thought I was going to die. Otters attack British man in Singapore Park.
They bit him 26 times in 10 seconds, and his friend saved him by just, running up and shooing them away and yelling at them, and they got scared and ran away.
Did this guy just lay down and take it? Like,
No, he said he fought, and his friends helped him fight.
wow.
They
The
managed-
otters actually chased his friends away one time.
Well, this is like a advanced version of geese.
Yeah, they.
Well, I've always said I think I could fight a goose, but 26 otters, I have no confidence.
No, I don't think I could.
They got him down too. They bit him all on his legs and ankle, and they really went to town on him. He's okay. They gave him antibiotics and shots, and he had to go back to the hospital a few times to have his wounds drained. But he's doing okay.
He probably had to do rabies too, right?
Probably.
Otters are mammals.
Good lord. So yeah.
Other animal stories.
Other animal stories.
Saudi camel beauty pageant cracks down on cosmetic enhancements.
So apparently, some people were giving their camels Botox.
Hashtag no filter.
And
make
using rubber bands to shape parts of their bodies by cutting off the blood flow. How horrible for the camels.
Oh.
Yeah, it is really terrifying.
And then you think humans do that voluntarily.
I realize I'm looking at these camels. I have no idea what a good-looking camel looks like.
These all look like good-looking camels. I mean, that they look.
They have beautiful eyelashes.
They don't look like they're ill-tempered. Yeah, that's probably done on purpose.
Do you think they... Well, so I know camels have long eyelashes to keep sand and stuff out. Do you think they give them fake ones? They give them falsies for these beauty pageants?
Yes, for sure. If you're giving them Botox,
Yeah.
you're definitely doing that.
Why is this a thing? Oh, this is sad. Very sad. For our viewership in Hong Kong, I'm so sorry.
It does not mean anything. Hong Kong's Carrie Lam says low election turnout may mean government is credible and doing well.
No, what was the quote? It was like, this is, oh yeah. Hong Kong's leaders dismissed concerns over low turnout at this month's Patriots-only election.
Patriots only.
If you live in Hong Kong, do you have any belief at all, even a shred of belief, that your votes are not being recorded by the Communist Party for monitoring later?
I think it ends up just being a very sad situation.
Either way, it's not good.
You got to feel
people.
for her too, because what can she do? She either does what they say, or she gets disappeared.
Yeah.
Or her family gets disappeared, which is maybe worse, arguably.
Yeah. It's really, really, really horrifying. We've got a follow-up to a story from last week.
This was our title story last week. Some snakes likely survived accidental Maryland house fire in attempt to get rid of them.
The firefighters looked at it and they said, well, a couple of snakes died, but there's not really a lot of snakes in the rubble, so they're probably around here somewhere.
And now that they've got all those nice warm rocks to lay on, oh, fantastic.
More than $1 million in damages.
Yeah, they bought the house for $1.8 million. It's basically a total write-off.
And still infested with snakes.
Lots of nice warm rubble for them to sleep in.
Maybe if we build it back, it'll be better this time and not filled with snakes.
Could
Just
be
do
a
that
horror
on
movie
purpose.
premise. Because it's still going to be filled with snakes? That was the joke. Yeah, I don't know if
No, because you said build back better.
Yeah, but it's still filled with snakes. Because how could you not?
But
Just like our
he's not going to
infrastructure.
spend enough to match that program. He's only spending $1 million.
Yeah, that's only a tiny, tiny drop in the bucket. Speaking of which, there's this.
China's Yutu 2. Rover spots cube-shaped mystery hut on far side of the moon.
It's going to take it 3 months to get there, but it is going to drive there. It's probably just a boulder. It's probably just a boulder with the way that light is hitting it. But, yeah, it's going
We're
to
gonna
go check
take
that
a
out.
look. Well, obviously it's an alien moon base, and we should definitely go knock and see if they want any cookies for the holiday.
It would be awesome if it was a monolith that was like, "Dear civilization, if you're reading this monolith, good. You've achieved,
Something.
the ability to travel to the moon. But here's a warning. Not long after we had the ability to go to the moon, things ended very badly. Please ensure that things do not end very badly for you. Sincerely, past humanity."
But they leave no hints about what went bad. So then everyone just gets panicky.
Think about this. Imagine that is obviously a structure, right? They get up there and it's clear. There's columns, there's carvings, but there's a door, and the rover can't get in. How hard do we space race to be the first
To get in
to
there.
get into the moon box?
It's full of alien jelly, just like on RimWorld.
Musk is there on a one-way mission in like 3 days.
Not him personally. He'll let someone else open that up.
No, I think that he would do that. He was like, "I'm going to sacrifice myself to open the door because reasons." And Bezos is like, "No, I must be the one to sacrifice
Maybe
myself."
that's how we get rid of him. We tell him there's alien jelly in there.
I don't know. It's probably just a boulder, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most likely. It's more fun to imagine if it was something else.
Well, speaking of misinformation,
Oh, no. Oh, no. These cute cats online, they help spread misinformation.
woo! So cat pictures attached to like, look at the cute cat picture, and then something about something.
Well,
Some other thing, yeah.
Yeah, the stories themselves don't point to anything else. It's just the New York Times is angry because some websites that also report on kittens and cats report on things that the New York Times doesn't think should be allowed to be reported on. So now they're saying that using cats is disinformation.
So would you say you showing your cats at the front of the Level 1 news that now the whole broadcast can be classified as misinformation?
Or it could be demonetized, which it already probably was.
Yeah.
No, nothing makes sense. Speaking of things that don't make sense,
Fall on walk from bed to desk is workplace accident, German court rules.
this is really it was an oddly narrow, an unnecessarily narrow ruling. So, dude gets out of bed, dude's on his way to the computer, trips and falls, is injured. That was workplace
Breaks his
commute.
back.
Yeah, workplace commute. So they're saying, "Oh, that's the workplace insurance should cover that." If he'd been on his way to get breakfast, that would not have been on the way to work.
But couldn't he easily lie about that?
What if he was going, here's another edge case. What if he's going to the bathroom? Because you could
Which
go
he
to
would
the
do
bathroom
first
at your
thing.
office.
Yeah.
Well, the ruling actually kind of mentions that. It said that if he was on his way to work, and then he was on his way to the bathroom or on his way somewhere else for lunch, that would not count.
There's no way to measure that.
Yeah.
How
don't know.
bad of a fall? You pop out of bed, you fall, and you break your back.
I know someone who had cats, and they would constantly try to trip him on the stairs.
Oh, right. Didn't he actually hurt himself?
He hurt himself pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, you can't blame the workplace for that.
No, I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that you can injure yourself pretty severely at home.
Yeah, you should think about that every time your kitty cats get under your feet.
Also, couldn't this guy be held responsible because he laid out the house?
Yeah, it's like the workplace thing is like, this is not to workplace standards, and it's like, oh, Lord help us if we have to make our homes OSHA proof.
Oh my gosh,
that's
yeah.
not going to be easy.
I need to have a room for breastfeeding in my house, but it's like, well, it's my house. Like,
Gonna have to get a special lockable fridge.
yeah.
You're calling up the workplace like, somebody keeps stealing my breast milk from my refrigerator. I don't know what you
It's
want
the
us to do
baby.
about that,
The baby's
ma'am.
taking it.
Oh no. Speaking of things that are absurd,
Bomb squad. Bomb squad called the hospital after man gets World War II mortar stuck in his rectum. My brain read that quickly, and so like I saw the last word was rectum. I was like, wait, what?
I know we're all like really super bored what with the global situation and all, but you really got to re-examine your life choices if that,
Maybe participate in
No.
November instead of.
Didn't you read his quote? He's a military enthusiast, and he had put that on the floor when he slipped and fell on it.
I didn't believe that for a second.
I bet nurses hear some variation of that
Yeah.
so often.
Yeah, you got to wonder, was this the first time, though?
He comes in again. They're like, oh, what are we going to find up there this time?
I fell.
I fell
Yeah,
on my way to work.
That's a common excuse for domestic abuse people too. It's like, oh, I fell.
This is also like, this is a 57 millimeter mortar. Did he start out with like 50 BMG and work his way up? Or did he jump right into 57 millimeters? That's aggressive.
It's something.
And our final story.
Super ripped cat with bulging muscles due to rare conditions stuns the internet.
Yay, look at that, cat pictures on Newsweek.
Look at
I
him.
love this guy.
I think he could beat your cat's butts.
He might take me on. What are you talking about, my cats? I'm thinking about all the time. Like, imagine cutting this guy's nails.
Oh,
That would be some serious injury.
look, he's even got abs.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a specimen.
He's so ripped.
How have we never seen this cat before? How did this cat grow up to be this big and not have an Instagram account?
Yeah, what did he look like when he was little? What was his name? I missed the name.
Chad.
No, you're joking.
Oh no, maybe that might be one of the comments.
Yeah.
It's a Sphinx cat.
They claim that there's
Can't read
no
it.
side effects to this. Like, he's not in pain or anything. He's just massively swole. Probably
What's
has to
that?
eat a lot.
I looked up the disease or whatever he has, and I was like, is there any other side effects? And it was like, it just makes his muscles really big. And I was like, well, that's not really a disease, is it?
Myostatin.
There was a baby. Do you remember the baby that had this?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like the super ripped. It was like
I wonder
No.
what happened to that kid. That kid's got to be like much older now, right?
probably an amazing football player.
Yeah, I say playing sports or something. He looks like a normal cat in some views. Like, there's one view where he's just laying and staring at the camera, and like you can't see his jacked arms.
Just a little bit of a hint something's not right there.
Yeah.
I bet he's really heavy too, right? He probably weighs at least 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's that super dense muscle. It's
Yeah.
just, you're just having a little ball of it's gonna mess you up in your hands.
Someone like goes to rob your house or something, and they're like, it's okay, they just have a cat, and then that cat shows up. It's terrible.
Crazy.
All right, I think, is that the last story?
That's the last story. We made it through another episode of the Level 1 News. And yeah, something, I don't know. Next week is Xmas, so
A weird week. I don't know if we might do a live episode early in the week
no idea.
because Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Go work on your Devember stuff.
Yes.
The cats are oddly quiet considering it's feeding time.
Well, they've moved into that room. They're now destroying things in there. I can hear them.
Oh, so we can't hear that.
How many days has it been since they turned over their water?
I don't leave the water in there at night anymore.
Well, they can't do it.
It's like a protest.
Oh, we're looking at a kitty cat. We're looking at getting one. We're gonna go meet it Monday afternoon. Woohoo!
All right.
Is it possible you bring it home that day?
We're gonna do a meet and greet with this cat and Rue and see how Rue reacts to the cat.
If it goes well, are you going to bring it home?
Maybe, yeah. We put an application in, so
Okay, so you're getting a cat on Monday is what you're saying.
probably getting a cat on Monday.
Woo!
Yeah. All right.
See ya.
We'll just like bye.